compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave, on the Township website, and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall. We request anyone wishing to address council, please wait for the mayor to recognize you. Please state your name and address for the record, and please remember, all comments must be kept to 3 minutes or less.
Thank you. Please stand for pledge of allegiance, a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad?
Here.
Councilmember Coombs?
Here.
Councilmember Roy?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Here.
Mayor Sippel?
Here. I'll go over the agenda for tonight real quick. We're going to have the oath of office for Officer D'Anato and Officer Gerard. There'll be a State of the Township address. There'll be a Fillmore Road project presentation. And once we get to the consent agenda, we're going to have a Public Works update from Superintendent Gary Douglas on this past week of all the different storms we had and various reports from there. So this time, I'd like to ask the Chief, you and your staff and your Officer Donato, please come to the front of the room. And Council, please join me. Hey, how we doing? Who's holding the Bible? You are? Okay. Mayor Frank Sippel, nice to meet you. Mayor Sippel, hi. Okay. Young man, you're kind of tall. How tall are you? 6'3". 6'3", you play basketball? Yeah, you should make some more money playing some basketball. But, Chief, you want to kick off the Bible, please?
Absolutely. Patrolman Andrew Donato, badge number 227, originally from Abington, Pennsylvania, has resided in Lower Township for the last 8 years. He's a 2020 graduate from the Wildwood Catholic High School. At 20 years old, after being hired by the Lower Township Police Department, Patrolman Donato attended the 62nd Basic Course for Special Law Enforcement Officers at the Cape May County Police Academy in December of 2022 and worked as a Class 2 for the summer of 2023. He then attended the 55th Basic Course for Police Officers at the Cape May County Police Academy and graduated as a full-time police officer at 21 years old. Patrolman Donato is very eager to begin his career and continue learning. Patrolman Donato's mother, Carla, will be pinning his badge, and his father, John, will be holding the Bible.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chief. Any other friends or family members in the audience that can come up? I'm not sure who's here. We're taking pictures, so when this is over, you connect with Lacey, and she'll send you some picture of the presentation, okay? So, young man, if you put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Andrew Donato,
Swear to support the Constitution of the United States
swear to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
I bear true faith
Bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
position of police officer
position of police officer
for the Township of Lower
for the Township of Lower
Police Department
Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, young man.
Sir.
Proud of you. Thank you. You want to get pictures, Chief? Or what's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, he's going to stick them. That's a good vest, isn't it? Okay, now we get some pictures. Okay. All right. Good job. Congratulations.
Thanks, Chief.
Hey, thanks for coming. Okay. Okay. No, he already did this once already. Thank you. Officer Gerard? Young man, how we doing?
Good, how are
All right.
How are you?
All right, how we doing? Okay.
Good.
Yep.
Patrolman Thomas Gerard, badge number 226, is a lifelong resident of Lower Township and a 2017 graduate from Lower Cape May Regional High School. Patrolman Gerard completed Special Law Enforcement Officer Class 1 training during his senior year of high school. He then attended Rowan University. In December of 2022, he was hired by the Lower Township Police Department and began his Special Law Enforcement Officer Class 2 training. Upon completion, Patrolman Gerard continued to work as a Class 2 officer until August of 2023, when he attended the 55th Basic Course for Police Officers at the Cape May County Police Academy, of which he graduated as a full-time police officer. Patrolman Gerard's father, Tom Gerard, will be pinning his badge. His mother, Daria Gerard, will be holding the Bible.
There we go. Okay, place your left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Thomas Gerard,
Swear to support the Constitution of the United States
swear to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
I bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
the position of police officer
the position of police
for
officer
the Township of Lower
for the Township of Lower
Police Department
Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, young man. All right. Wait, just get through that stuff, right?
That's not college.
You and me both.
It's like, well,
All right, here we go. You want to get close for the pictures? Yep. Thanks.
or Stephen.
Does he want to get in the picture?
You want to get in? No.
Okay. Hey, thanks for coming. Thank you for coming down. Okay, congratulations. Good luck.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, Chief. It's like a receiving line, man.
Doctor.
What are you doing? There's too many. You running for office or something? Me? LT? LT? All right. Sergeant first class? All right. Now, I like your shirt better than his, too. All right.
How would I know? Learn something every day.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Chief, when you exit the facility, we'll start the address unless you guys want to hang out for the next hour. All right, be safe. Thanks for coming. Boy, never saw so many police officers move so quick, did you? Okay, we'll start the presentation. Good afternoon. Today is the State of the Township address. I'll brief in council, members of the public, and the press tonight, or today I should say. This presentation has three parts. Part one is a review of 2023. Part two is 2023 snapshot by accomplishments by separate departments, and a look into 2024. I thank the clerk's office for helping put this presentation together. And before we start the presentation, let's hear a little bit about Lower Township. Lower Township is located at the southern tip of New Jersey, has the largest year-round population in Cape May County. It's home to roughly 23,000 residents. The 32-square-mile township is located between the Atlantic Ocean in the Delaware Bay and has the best sunsets in the state along the Delaware Bay. Lower Township community was incorporated in 1798, consisting of historic towns including Cold Spring, Irma, Fisher Creek, Villas, Diamond Beach, Shawcrest, Scottsville Landing, North Cape May, and Town Bank. The township is home to the Cape May County Airport and the Cape May Lewis Ferry. It's rich with historic sites, including the Fishing Creek School, Naval Air Station Wildwood, historic Cold Spring Village, and the Cape May Lighthouse. Other great attractions are Atlantis, a concrete ship from World War I, which has a beautiful landmark at Sunset Beach and Coxhall Creek Wildlife Management Area, just to mention some of the great places to visit. And if you want to learn more about these different sites, if you go on the township website, you click on each site, there's a write-up about each one on the website. I'm going to talk about a handful of the 2023 administrative actions completed by council. The first resolution was an issue with our juvenile curfew. We had several residents come in asking for some help from the township to address some kids they said were kind of causing a nuisance in the neighborhood. We met with the parents, the chief of police and manager, and members of council, and we actually fixed the problems we had out there. So it was a good move to reaffirm and reestablish our juvenile curfew ordinance. The second resolution we'll talk about is a tax credit that's offered to volunteer firemen. There's a bill at the state level right now that's floating around. It's not approved yet, but Lower Township passed a resolution to support this bill. If it gets approved, the municipality has the authority to relieve taxes from 10 to 100% of the property tax for volunteer firemen and also for first aid squad members, or we'll call them the rescue squad. On December 4th, last month, we approved the shared service agreement between the Township of Lower and the Borough of Wildwood Crest to establish municipal court. This is no cost to the taxpayers. The court started this month, January, and the employees that are involved with this process, the judge, the prosecutor, public defender, and some administrative staff were given stipends to offset the cost for the additional work. Scheduled landing, we've been working out for traffic calming measures for probably the last couple of years. Probably soon we'll have the flashing beacons installed over there, installed to allow pedestrians to do the crosswalks without getting hit by a car. The last one, February 5th, our next meeting, the representative and deputy commissioner from the New Jersey Military Veterans Affairs will come down to the township to award the township the We Value Our Veterans Community Award, and I'll cover that a little bit more in the presentation. In 2023, I'm going to talk about the budget. We value our Veterans Community Award, drones, Higbee Beach Project, and the capital improvement projects. Last year for 2023, the council approved a budget of $32.2 million plus. We value our Veterans Community Award. This is a big thing for the township. It's a lot of work. We submitted the application July of last year, and we received notification about a month ago. It was approved. Like I said, they'll be here next meeting on February 5th to present the award to township. If you look at the slide, you'll see two things we did. We renamed Station Road to Veterans Way. That runs between the Township Hall and the library back to the rec center. And I believe it was called Station Road years ago because a police station used to be here. So it was actually fitting for us to change it to Veterans Way. In addition to that, council passed an ordinance to have reserved parking for disabled veterans along with Purple Heart recipients. And this award is not just those two things. There's a whole checklist of 15 benchmarks that the township has to hit to be recognized and receive this award. And some are establishing a business with military discounts, quarterly roundtable for veterans. I'm going to thank the Villas VFW, post 5343, for helping us with these meetings, bringing students to the school to talk to the teachers and the students, bringing family members to the school with veterans. Holding Memorial and Veterans Day service. Honor, remember POW, Gold Star families. And there's a few more on this list here, but Again, it was a lot of work, and I want to thank the Township Council for moving forward. Again, they'll be here on February 5th to present the award to the Township. The drones, in 2023, our police department fully implemented the UAS or drone program. They expanded the AT program by licensing 12 new operators. And I want to mention the drone program operates on a strict general order from the chief of police because it's a sensitive subject to have a drone flying around the sky. Higbee Beach Project, the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife been working on the upgrades at Higbee Beach to provide enhanced viewing of a spectacular natural resources. This project will visually open up Pond Creek tidal and freshwater habitat and provide access for viewing via bridge crossing. This is a $33 billion project funded by the state and federal government. It includes observation deck, nature trails, and overlooks. Talking to the manager, he received word today, this project will probably start this March, so it's around the corner. This is phase one of a project. Phase two is not funded, but if it gets funded, they'll build an education center out on Sunset Boulevard. I'm going to talk about the 2023 completed capital improvement projects, infrastructure municipal pool improvement project, Milburn Center concrete project, the replacement pavilions at the Douglas Park, Lincoln Boulevard bathroom project, Milburn Center ADA improvements, and reconstruction of paving and drainage of Fire Lane, Carriage Lane, Briarwood Drive, Bridle Path, Padlock Lane, Timber Lane, Trotter Way, Saddle Court, and 8th Street from Wissahickon to Route 109. Some of the things I want to highlight in 2023 is that the township had a fundraiser on August 1st at the Freeman Douglas Park, and that fundraiser was to raise money for a Children's Assistance Fund, which helps offset the cost for those that need help and assistance for their child to be involved with activities in the township. We raised $3,600 that night, and part of that night was funded by the Cape May County Department of Tourism. We also had Lower Township Annual Veterans Day Parade, 50 in a row we did that parade. It was a good turnout. Our 9/11 ceremony, hosted by a remembrance ceremony to observe the 22nd anniversary of 9/11, which was held at Naval Air Station Wildwood. It was a great event. I'd like to thank Bruce Vernier, who works for the Recreation Department and also at the Naval Air Station, Doc Salvatore and Andy Salvatore for the use of the facility. It was a good event. We'll probably go back there again next year. Just a couple events we have in the township, and I want to mention they're free events. The Easter egg hunt is the spring fling we have, and the annual trunk or treat we have. We also have the Haunted Trail Walk, again, a free event. Over 50 volunteers helped put this together, and we had over 1,500 residents enjoy the Haunted Trail Walk. The snapshot of the following departments for 2023. Public safety from the police department. They implemented a deputy chief position within the rank structure and sworn in the first ever Lower Township Police Department deputy chief. They implemented the ARRIVE program. This program partners with mental health counselors together with the police officers, so when they respond to an incident, if it happens to be a mental episode, they'll have a counselor with them. Lower Township, Miller are the only two townships in the county that have this program. Like I mentioned before, we extended the ATV program by licensing 12 new operators. The Lower Township Courts. The Lower Township and the Borough of Wildwood Crest have entered into a shared service agreement for the municipal courts, and the court now be heard in Lower Township. As I mentioned before, there's no cost to the township for this agreement. Public Works, they have their fall-winter leaf schedule out there, and the second sweep will start probably towards the end of January, weather permitting, to pick up the leaves and branches. The Wildwood Avenue reconstruction will be going out to bid with hope of construction starting in April 2024. The design to alleviate flooding in the 200 blocks of Francis Ave, Cardinal Ave, West Wildwood, Rose Lane, and West Drumbed are being finalized, planned to award, which should be coming in the coming weeks. The construction of the Beach Pass in North Cape May and Town Bank section will be going out to bid on January 17th. Did it go out today, Mike? It went out today. Thank you. The clerk's office, as you see, they're very busy. 905 short-term rental licenses, 312 business licenses, over 1,000 dog licenses. The important thing here is 424 resolutions and 24 ordinances, which is a lot of work between the office and our solicitor's office. We'll switch over to the tax assessor's office. The number 16,310,300 is in out of ratables. That's added value of properties in the township. So when you multiply the added value, that number with the tax rate, you'll come up to the next number of $198,910,000. That's the increase. That's increased our rateable base. Our rateable base right now is more than $3.7 billion. Tax collector's office. They collected over $74 million in taxes and unmissable charges. The unaudited tax collection rate for 2023 is over 99%. As you see, Lower Township has the most residents to qualify for the anchor program, and we're always providing assistance here in the township for that. And the last bullet is a list of all our taxable properties and non-taxable properties in the township. Treasurer's office, big slide here. I'm pretty proud to talk about these numbers. For 2023, year-end fund balance was more than $9.7 million, which means that's our surplus. I'd like to thank council, the manager, and all the department heads for making sound financial decisions in 2023. So that number is about $1.3 million more than last year. Last year was the third highest year for surplus. This year, for 2023, is the highest ever in history of Lower Township with a $9.7 million surplus. Now, part of that reason why the surplus came in so high, council approved an occupancy tax, which brought in $737,000 plus. We also switched banks last year and allowed us to make more money interest, and that brought in close to $500,000. And we had some money come back from the county MUA for some recycling program, which gave us about a $1.3 million increase from last year's surplus. If you look at the slide, you'll see 3 loans at $24,275. They're loans that the township lends out for low income, yet there's a criteria to meet to receive that, but they're for emergency repairs, like you may need a new roof or something like that. Just for the record, the township has over $1 million of loans currently on the street. On June 6th of last year, the Standard & Poor's upgraded our bond rating from a AA- to a AA. And the last bullet, grants received, which is really important, saves a lot of money. It's more than $2.5 million, and there's a list on the right-hand side, breakdown of all of the grants. Emergency management. It's important to remind everybody we have a women's center located at the Seashore Community Church on Seashore Road in Irma during the winter months. And Lower Township has 2 community shelters located at the Recreation Center and Millman Center, always ready for emergencies. And you see OEM is responsible for all those events listed on this slide, plus more. Planning and Zoning Office. You see all the numbers there. I do want to mention all our board members are all volunteers, and both boards are autonomous from the township government. They work on their own. But we had 6 use variances, 19 site plans, 22 subdivisions. We swore in 3 new members this year, and we have 1 vacancy on the zoning board right now. The construction office issued over 1,200 permits, and over 120 updated permits, completed over 4,000 inspections, and brought in a grand total of $688,689 in fees. Code enforcement. Last year, we had 677 complaints. We issued 37 summons, which is probably around 5% of the complaints that came in. We had 510 dogs on the beach we had to respond to for the infractions. And it's important we do say that, we're not looking to give everybody summons. Everything's a verbal warning, a written warning, sometimes 2 or 3 written warnings before a summons is issued to a resident. Recreation, you can see all the numbers here, how many kids are involved with all the various sports. I will say this, open play for indoor pickleball is now available at the Lower Township Rec Center throughout the winter from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Wednesdays and Fridays. It's been a big hit in there. A lot of folks go in there and take advantage of the opportunity to play some pickleball. I'm going to talk about some 2024 capital improvement projects. Most are funded, Some still have to be funded with the approval from council. The Diamond Beach Park improvements, David Douglas Park Improvement Project, the Rotary Park Improvement Project, Recreation Center Playground Equipment, North Cape May Town Bank path upgrades and improvements, the Delaware Bay Outfall Extension Project, reconstruction of Wildwood Avenue. When we talk about reconstruction, we're talking about milling, paving, and fixing the stormwater drainage. Reconstruction of Bay Drive, reconstruction of Ridgewood Avenue, stormwater GIS mapping project, Ohio Avenue pump station upgrades, Francis Avenue stormwater connections project, Lower Township Municipal Pool House renovation project, and DPW facility upgrades. Again, many of them are already funded. A lot of these projects we get open space money for, or grants are out there. Case in point, Diamond Beach, I think we have over $800,000 in open space coming in. The Wildwood Avenue, we have two separate grants that came in for that project and other grant monies for some other projects. So for the next slide, says the goal is 0% increase for municipal tax for 2024. Consultation with the manager and the CFO today. When we introduce the budget in the first meeting of March, the budget will come in with a 0% increase, so that goal can go away, and it's pretty safe to say now we'll have a 0% increase for the tax for 2024. We have a few miscellaneous items here to talk about. The agreement between the DRBA and the Cape May County Aviation Sports Complex. It's a dome, will be going to the airport. It's a $1.6 million project, it's 80,000 square feet. At the house complex will house indoor track, soccer field, lacrosse field, foosball court, golf simulators, areas for jutsu, and healthy heart class, among other facilities. The fire safety office, you see how busy they are. They had over 1,800 inspections this year, 589 business inspections, 528 sale inspections where folks are selling their house, and other permit inspections. They do a very good job for us, and there's a lot of work in that office. The last slide is the engineer report. Not only does Mark de Blasio's firm is a township engineer, they also work for the planning and zoning board. They had actually went through escrow reviews of 35 projects. They worked off 11 capital projects for the township. They helped secure 6 grants and loan initiatives, and the assistant design project for 7 grants and loans, municipal projects in the township. That's all I have. Pending any questions. Anybody have any questions on the presentation? Council? All right, thank you, everybody.
Planned it out like that.
Okay, all right, Mr. Bergen, you want to come up to the podium and do your presentation? Whoever's going to be doing it. Yeah, it's fine, yep.
So Mayor and Council, my name's John Cornick. I'm the engineer for the development team for the redevelopment of the Fulling Mill project. This was presented before council probably about 2.5 years ago. I've been working with the DEP ever since to continue to work on getting this particular property within the sewer service area for that location. We submitted back in July, August, the plan for sketch plan review to the Township Planning Board. And they recommended us to come back to council just to give you an update on the project, go through the changes, make sure that everybody's up to speed as to what has been. Also show you that the project has been reduced in scope. It hasn't been increased in scope. The work that we're doing there. So, if you all recall, this was named an area in need of rehabilitation. That afforded the developers to come in and put this into a redevelopment plan. And that redevelopment plan allows you to create the zoning for this new housing project. And the housing project, if you recall, recall, is a 55-year and older community. It's a mix of townhomes and single-family homes. It also has an amenity with a pool, pickleball, things that the residents could utilize. The revisions in general, with county planning board or county engineer comments, he wanted one entrance into it, a boulevard entrance. So if you recall in the prior plan, we had 2 roads going out to Fulling Mill. We're doing a road widening as a result of that, and also turn lanes into the property. The prior application or presented to you was 89 townhomes. We have 102 in this design, but we had 152 single-family homes, where it's been reduced to 112. So we went from 241 units down to 214. And that was a product of working with the DEP, them wanting us to preserve lands behind the Atlantic City electric easement and not touch that, and just working with them and seeing what they want as a result of the sewer service area. In general, that's the new layout. I sent that over to Lou Julie earlier in the month, and our anticipation is getting into a public comment period with the sewer service area component within the next 60 to 90 days. And then we're probably going to be submitting the actual subdivision for preliminary review to the planning board by the end of this month, in anticipation of moving this project forward. So we're here to answer any questions, if you have any comments as to what's going on or with regards to the project.
Council comments? Anything?
Is there a low-income aspect to this, affordable housing?
So with respect to the affordable housing plan within the township, there's a fair share contribution as a result. So that was what was directed as part of that project here.
Good, thank you.
All right, thank you now.
Okay.
No? No?
Thank you.
Julie, is that microphone on? Can you
I
check?
don't believe so.
Yeah.
That's the last presentation of the evening.
Can we check? Yeah.
I don't see the green.
John speaks loud enough.
Okay, we'll move down to consent agenda. Anybody from council have any comments on consent agenda?
No comment.
No comments. Anybody from the public want to comment on the consent agenda only? I see none. Close the public portion.
Approval of the minutes, January 3, 2024. Resolutions 2024-55 through 2024-64.
Is there a motion, movers?
I'll make a motion.
Second motion?
Councilmember Conrad,
Yes.
Councilmember Coombs,
Yes.
Councilmember Roy,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Perry,
Yes.
Mayor Sippin.
Yes. We move down to the regular agenda, and I'll ask Mr. Gary Douglas to come to the microphone and brief council on the recent storms that went through the township, please.
Yes, good evening. So several months ago, I know I stood up here, so we'll start with the Roseanne Avenue neighborhood. And I stood up here and we did have a malfunction of the system itself, with the chamber in the 200 block building up with the trash rack and, blowing the manhole covers off and such. So just to give you an update on that first, after talking with engineering, manufacturer of the pumps and everything, that was rectified. The trash racks have been taken out of that chamber. There's a secondary catch point right before the pumps for the bigger materials. Our pumps will handle leaves and small bottles, plastic bottles and stuff if need be. So as in the recent storms that we have had that, are putting down a lot of rainfall in each storm, abnormally, especially last Tuesday night, I believe, the Tuesday night of the 9th. We had a mess in all areas of the township. So there's been some calls with concerns. I know some council have got some calls, the manager, and rightfully so. So I want to just make it clear. So on Roseanne Avenue, the money we spent on that project was nothing to do with a system breakdown that night. We had a supervisor ride through the area at 10 p.m. because we had crews out all over because of some flooding issues, and the area, seemed to be fine. At about 10:30, we got a squall of a very heavy downpour, and then what had took place was it just, there's leaves. That section is in the current leaf collection area. That amount of rain just takes them leaves, and when they roll down the curb line and become on top of the drainage inlets, it shuts it off. Believe me, it shuts it off. And we thought maybe it was the pumping system. We checked that out. We thought the marsh was overflowing because that has many years ago. But it was simply the leaves on all them basins, believe it or not, all at the same time. So it was, took a little bit, some crews out there, got the leaves off the basins. It drained fairly quickly once we got to it. So, thinking, we have a leaf problem in the streets, and that's not just in the Roseanne area. That's all over, throughout North Cape May. That night we had several intersections flood out. Same issue. I don't know what the fix is, whether it's our leaf collection. We try to urge the residents not to rake their leaves into the street other than to the curb line. That way, the rainstorms and even if it snows when we're plowing, it doesn't affect that area. But unfortunately, when a lot of places, when you rake them to the curb line, you may be blocking the sidewalk. If they sit there too long, it deadens the vegetation. So I don't know. So been talked to Mike and a couple of councilmen. We're going to put our heads together, and it may be time to come up with a different method, whether it's put them in biodegradable bags and do away with the vacuum system we got now, something to try to keep just that amount of leaves off the street at one time. I mean, there is prone areas. We just, every storm, we just don't have the means to go out and clean up leaves in them areas. We may get to a couple of them areas, but it's still a township-wide issue with the heavy downpours. Other than that area, we do have our flooding occurring, of course, at Francis Avenue, which engineering's working on a fix for that to connect it into our Ohio Avenue pump station. So we're hoping that'll come pretty quickly because we're pumping every day up there out of that system because of the outfalls 8 feet under the sand and, so. But overall, throughout the township, if you're taking a ride around, the groundwater is extremely high. So we've been getting a lot of calls from residents that have never seen water laying in their yard. But it's happening all over. It's not strictly Villas, North Cape May. There's spots in Irma. It's just once the water gets there, because of the water table, it's just not draining as quick as one would think it would, or, it has. So we're fielding them concerns from the residents who are calling. Some understand, and some just don't want water in their backyard. But it's not a lot to do with the infrastructure. We do have some issues in places with undersized piping, and to help a council with the funds and management, we have been moving forward on those projects. So that's about where we are.
Okay, anybody from council want to add anything, or?
All I can say is my house is one of the areas in the Villas that does flood because of the leaves. And they just went through The last time was, I think, 2 weeks before the storm. We had some spot piles. It's just coming from yards, it's coming from everywhere. And once they get on top, I've been out there with the metal rake trying to clear out those drains, and that's the only thing that sometimes helps is because, as you said, your people are overwhelmed because you would have to have people stationed almost every storm drain to keep it open. And it's just going through and trying to open things up.
Yeah, so it may, come down to a different collection method or maybe enforcement with the leaves being raked into the street. I mean, we asked to be raked to the curb, I guess. Might be a better way
Different
to define
interpretation.
that, you rake them to the curb, it is the street, I can understand that too, but we do specify on our leaf and plant schedule to not block the flow of the stormwater, which is, can be almost impossible, but if they're in the street, it's hard. If you move them out too far, then you're impeding into the traffic lanes, but we will work hard with that. I'll work with the manager and council on what is the best method, how can we correct this?
I think that it's not just a problem that we have to conquer ourselves. I believe that the residents of the township have to look at this and realize what's going on and take it upon themselves to make sure that, when their leaves come down, and I know my yard, with the trees there, we get a lot of leaves, but we can't be putting them in the street and clogging the infrastructure that we're spending a lot of money to correct and make work properly, that we can't have it clogged by leaves. And it's been a problem for years. I think a lot of people realize that, but I think that the citizens in the township have to work with us and help us to alleviate that problem by keeping their leaves on their property and not putting them in the street.
Yeah, and we do, when we do meet with some residents, and they do understand the storm drain issue, the ones that are able and have the means know when that storm's coming, they do keep an eye on it, and they go out there and they rake them off themselves. But we, can't ask every resident to do that. Some are unable to do it. A lot of these recent storms come overnight. Nobody's going to stay up to watch that. But we're doing the best we can, and hopefully we'll come up with a solution.
Hopefully it'll be a team effort between the township and the residents and work it out.
Last week, Deputy Mayor Perry and myself sat down with the manager and Mr. Douglas, and we pretty much tasked them to come up with some options, a plan, and have leaf pickup done differently because it's not working. That's all. And it may come down to council passing an ordinance and code enforcement enforcing with summons. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think it's something we need to look at. Unfortunately, it's cost us too much money repairing the infrastructure. So again, Mr. Laffey and Mr. Douglas are going to come up with some options to council sometime in the very near future, and then we'll have to decide if we want to pass an ordinance to enforce that new way of doing business in the township. So, all right, thank you, Gary. Engineer report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This evening, I'll be presenting the engineer's report on behalf of de Blasio and Associates, and I will be giving an overview of all the capital projects currently underway in the township. The first capital project is the Diamond Beach Park improvements. The Diamond Beach Park improvements include a new playground equipment, pickleball courts, shade structures, and bathrooms. The bid opening took place for this, and the lowest responsible bidder was Fred M. Chavone Construction in the amount of $1,299,280. As the mayor mentioned, the cost of construction will be largely offset by funding from the Cape May County Open Space Program in the amount of $846,289.13. The project is scheduled to begin construction later this month. The second capital project is the 2023 NJDOT Municipal Aid Program, reconstruction of Wildwood Avenue. Bay Drive was also added into this project, although they will be bid separately. So the designs for these projects have been complete. However, we've had to submit Wildwood Avenue to the NJDOT for a review process, so we're currently waiting to hear back from that. That project is also being offset by 2 NJDOT grants totaling over $340,000. So we are geared up and ready to bid that project. We're just waiting to hear back, so hopefully we should get some news from the NJDOT shortly and be able to put that out to public bid with construction occurring shortly thereafter. The third project, the Beach Access Pathway Survey and Installation. So as the mayor mentioned, the design for the 5 timber paths have been complete and went out to bid today. So there's a 2-week bid period, and after which we'll be starting construction shortly thereafter, with the goal wrapping up construction prior to summer 2024. The Rotary Community Park renovations. This project is well underway with phase 1 of 2 commencing. The site has been cleared, all the concrete has been installed, and the playground equipment just got delivered, so that's starting to be installed. This project is largely being funded by a $400,000 NJDCA grant, which was being utilized for phase 1. Phase 2 of the project requires more significant wetlands permits for the NJDEP. Our office has prepared and submitted these permits, so we're waiting to hear back on that. And once we receive approval, we'll get into the design of phase 2 and then the construction. Project number 5, the Bay Outfall Extension. The proposed work for this project includes the extension of various bayside outfalls to improve drainage. Our office is currently in the design phase for this project, and we're preparing plans to submit plans to obtain the necessary permits. Capital project number 6, the 2024 NJDOT Municipal Aid Program reconstruction of Ridgewood Avenue. This project includes the milling and paving of Ridgewood Avenue from Bayshore Road to the western end of Ridgewood Avenue. The township has been granted a $200,000 grant for this project, and the project has been surveyed. It's currently being base mapped, and it will be in the design phase shortly. Capital project number 7, the 2023 Stormwater GIS Mapping Services. So as part of the township's MS4 permit, they're required to digitally map all the stormwater infrastructure in Lower Township. Gary has applied and received a grant for this. It's in the amount of $25,000. You receive part of it, and once you submit the map, you get the other part of it. So our office has been engaged to help Gary with this work. We've been working together, and that project is underway. The Francis Avenue Storm Sewer Project. This project includes connecting the existing stormwater system on Francis Avenue to the existing pump station on Ohio Avenue to alleviate flooding on Francis Avenue. This project is in the design phase. The rough designs have been completed by our office, and our office is working with the township to determine the best way to complete this project. The Ohio Avenue Pump Station Emergency Storm Sewer Replacement. So this project includes the repair of some defunct pipe that connects the drainage basin next to Ohio Avenue to the pump station. Perna Finnegan has been engaged to complete this work for the township, and we will be starting construction in the very near future. The final project, the David Douglas Senior Memorial Park renovations, includes the reconstruction and expansion of the existing parking lot to add new parking, a new bathroom building and associated utilities, relocation and refurbishment of the existing memorial, new site amenities, new decorative footpaths, and an observation deck. Our office is currently working with Lower Township to prepare a concept plan to be utilized for a preliminary funding application to the Cape May County Open Space Board. We will be getting the preliminary application submitted by March 1st, which is the cutoff for the first round of funding for 2024. Our office is also preparing wetlands permits, which are required to eventually construct this project. That wraps up my presentation. Thank you.
Questions?
Yes. Bay Outfalls.
Yes.
We've been talking about this one for a while. I know the DEP slowed everything up with all the different things. We have any idea of a date of any type of, when it's looking like it's going to start?
We should be getting permits submitted within the month, and then that is between 3 to 6 month approval timeline. At that point, we could go out to public bid.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll open up the meeting to general public comments. Anybody from the public want to come up to council, the microphone, address council? I ask you please state your name and address.
Ed Sharetta, 306 Roseanne Avenue. Obviously, you know why I'm here. First of all, I want to tell you, number one, I'd like to thank Mr. Perry because I know he was very involved in getting that pumping station down there and all that work done, and I appreciate that. I appreciate everything everybody's done with that. I also, it's not easy for me to come here and complain because a lot of people in this room are good friends of mine, and I don't want to be a pain in the neck, but I live on Roseanne Avenue, and it's important to me. There are a couple things that I'd like to address, and it's not critical, Gary, but I want to address a couple of things. First of all, I think a preemptive approach needs to be taken on the leaf collection. We had trucks out there the next day picking up leaves and clearing everything up, and it was like an army came in. That should be done honestly beforehand, not after the storm. It should be done before the storm. This storm was, I mean, Murphy called it a state of emergency. It's not like this storm snuck up on us. So that's one thing I would ask, that we get a preemptive approach. I know that it's not easy to do that, but, and I know manpower is a problem at times, but we didn't have a problem coming in the day after, okay? So I think we could do that. We could be preemptive. I had a problem with leaves for a while in my backyard. I had a ton of trees behind me. Thank God they're all gone. People have taken them down. But I used to pack my leaves up and take them to the dump. And I'm in favor of doing that, except I know that not everyone can do it, and there's going to come a time when I can't do that. So I'm not sure that's the way to go. I don't know whether we should fine people for moving them out to the street. Now, not putting them in the street, again, I'm not trying to be critical here. I'm just trying to throw out ideas here. If you don't put them in the street and you put them in your yard, 2 foot of water is going to rush them down to the pumping station anyhow. It's not going to be, it's going to cover the storm drains. We're not going to solve the problem by saving them, putting them on the street, or not putting them in the street. I mean, the problem, to me, the situation is get rid of them before the storm. If we know a storm's coming, particularly. I mean, yeah, there's times you might get a storm that you don't realize is going to come, but when you sit in your house and you worry about every little inch that's coming up, I mean, my flood insurance is outrageous, and I'm sure other people in that neighborhood, their flood insurance is the same thing. It's ridiculous. My house has been flooded a couple times. Every time I talk to the insurance company, they want to bring that up, that it's been there before. So I certainly don't need any more issues of water coming into my house. And again, to me, it's we spent a lot of money, not we, you guys spent a lot of money getting that situation to where it is now that we can control some of it. I think cleaning up the leaves prior to storms, maybe even it needs to be in the areas where we flood. Maybe it needs to be once a month. Somebody goes through there and looks at the leaf situation and clears it up. But certainly, if we can come in the day after a storm and clean up the leaves, we can come in the day before a storm and clean up the leaves. That's my feeling. All right? So I've had my say. I feel like, listen, I'm not trying to come here and complain, but I live there. And the property values are going to go down when people, I mean, every time I think about selling my house, which I don't often, but I mean, it's certainly in the back of everyone's mind, all I can think about is how many times is this street flooded and how many people know that? And what's going to happen when I want to sell my house? And so anyhow, I've had my say. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Joe Thomas from 307 Roseanne, and I would like to congratulate all the public workers for the job that they do. They do an excellent job, except in this case, It was a day late. And I just, in general, on our street, I don't know about the 200 block, a majority or a large portion of your voters are elderly. That's a statistical fact. We have a 92-year-old, a 95-year-old on our block. If we see a police car, either it's followed by an ambulance or a mortician. So that, finding the elderly for not doing their leaves is not an answer. Also, if the street floods, the mortician or the ambulance can't get there. All right. And these are the people most in need of emergency services. And it would be nice if they could get it when they need it. I think the solution, Ed took most of my steam, is a preemptive strike before the storm. Certainly, we had plenty of notice that it was coming. I hear all these projects being proposed in different areas. I understand Barry and the demands of budget, but if I hear all this money being spent in other areas, and I realize over time and budget costs money, but if it's spent over here, then they've got a little bit of gravy to spend on preemptive activity. So I would urge council to give it a moment of thought, because people's lives are at stake. Right? You can't find a river when it's going down your street and someone needs help. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Mr. Thomas and Mr. Shredder do have legitimate concerns. I just felt it was to get up here when we, the statements of we were a day late or if we can do it the day after. So I just feel compelled I need to answer that a little bit. So we knew storms were coming, and, although it seems like, okay, then we came a day after and we got it done, it's not the case. There was another storm coming later on in that week. So, yes, being that was the major problem area, we did get out there the next day and do that. But, to cover every area that floods during a heavy rainstorm, this meeting might be the residents of Roseanne Avenue. And not that we won't go tend to them the next time, but you might have the next meeting after that storm, it's going to be a different area. So I just want to clarify that is not the only area, and it wasn't that we didn't know a storm was coming. We had crews in that night, checking storm drain tops and everything. Like I said, it came on within 45 minutes with the heavy downpour, and that's what it caused. So the root of the problem is the leaves. I don't know what the answer is at this point. We'll work towards that, but so we did divert other priorities or made that our number one priority after that first storm to go in there. So we took away from other projects and stuff we were on because of the upcoming storm at the end of that week. So I just wanted to clarify that.
All right, thank you.
Ray Flickinger, 1700 Washington Boulevard, North Cape May. First, I want to congratulate Mayor, Council for the presentation tonight and what you accomplished the past year, and the nice thought that you build up a good revenue surplus, and that in 24 you're looking at a zero tax rate for everybody. The other thing on the leaf thing, I've seen that. One thing I've seen around some areas, some people do, they have like big, I don't know, maybe 10 by 20, like nylon things. and they put all the leaves in them, and then they tack them down just like you would pitch a tent down and tie it down. And I've noticed on some of those places that the leaves don't get out of that bad. I mean, you never know with winds and stuff like that, and the ground gets so soaked, but I've gone by some of them and they're still tacked down, you know? A little bit might get out at the end of them, but it's like a nylon mesh. You've probably seen that before. It was just a suggestion, especially like in the high areas and all. Maybe be a trial run, some people that have leaves and stuff like that, you know, pass out some and see if it would help that way. That's all I'd say. Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you.
I am Larry Shillington. I live at 320 Roseanne. It's on the corner right by where the pump is. Going back to the leaf, I'm going to reiterate that also. Some of these piles of leaves have sat there for over 2 months. I mean, I think we should do a better job earlier getting them out. We know they've come down in the fall. So, you know, I kind of propose that they should do it maybe once a month, especially during the fall. You know, fall into December. And I think if you had it all done by December, everything would have been cleaned up. You know, we would have avoided this and this. And I also have another problem. Gary put a drain in, which we thought would fix the problem. I got water coming in from the neighbor's yard. In their driveway, it kind of forms a river right through my yard. And we put the drains in there, but the drains are a reservoir. It doesn't go into the main drain. So, you know, I would like that to be corrected as soon as possible. It's ruining my yard. I'm losing, you know, it's eroding, you know, the whole front of my fence. So that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And for the record, I do want to clarify that the township's never in a position to fine people, okay? It's last resort. If you look at the presentation tonight, we had over 600 and so code enforcement infractions in the township, and we only issue summons to, I think, less than 5% of those folks. So it's all about verbal warnings, just talking to people, come up with a solution, but we do not want to fine nobody in the township. It's always the very, very, very last resort. But it's pretty evident that we have to come up with some type of plan, because what we're doing right now is not working, so we need to work on it. Mr. Douglas, Mr. Laffey's going to work on it and come up with some recommendations to council, and we'll go from there and decide what course of action to take. So, yeah.
And it's a different subject, but why don't you hear out
Okay.
A few years back, I came to council and asked that they try to get the speed limit lowered right around, on Bay Shore Road, right around Roseanne Avenue. I don't know how many of you guys have ever had to come out of that corner, but it's difficult. And in the summertime, it's getting almost impossible. The speed limit was lowered to 35 in a section there. I looked at it today because honestly, I meant to say this when I was up here before, but I looked at it today, and the first sign back towards landscape and gardening, that area, it says 40 mile an hour. I don't know if that could get changed to 35 because it's not 35 till you almost get to Roseanne Avenue. And the first sign's not very big. The other thing I would like to ask, and I don't know whether this is possible or not either, every once in a while I see the police signs out there that are flashing, and maybe if they could put a sign out there, possibly in both directions, I don't know, but that's saying that speed limit drops down to 35 there, just so local people become aware of it. Because honestly, not many people are going 35 there. They're doing 50 and 55, or they're at least doing 45 and 50. I mean, it's tough. It scares me. It scares me, and it particularly scares. I have a number of great grandkids that are starting to drive, and it coming out of Roseanne Avenue, and it makes me nervous as can be. Yeah, I have great grandkids.
And to answer that, back in, I believe it was 2016 or somewhere thereabouts, I worked hard to get the speed limit reduced to 35, which we did. I don't think it'd be a major problem to reach out to the county engineer and have the signs relocated to let people know well in advance that you're going to have the speed limit
Yeah,
drop.
I think, Dave, I think if you could do it back at that landscape and gardening, and have a reasonably decent-sized sign, not anything crazy, but the normal speed limit sign, that would help. I don't know if it's going to solve the problem or
I
not.
I believe right now it's after the curve, right?
It is.
After the curve
It is.
gate
You're right.
is set.
You're right.
Maybe we can get it relocated and also possibly have police set some radar up out there.
Right.
And
Yeah, I'm not looking for anybody to get a ticket.
no, but you get pulled over.
Right.
Maybe the next time you go by there, you
Right.
maybe not get a ticket, but you'll slow down.
Right.
I know back where I live, where the S-curve is on Clubhouse and Bay Drive, the police sit there. It's also an area where the speed limit is 25, people do 40.
Right.
So the police do sit there, so that might be another avenue that we can reach out and have the police there. Also, I noticed too, being as you brought it up, at Old Mill, we have the crosswalk signs that the county put in
Right.
with the flashing lights. I noticed not many people give the courtesy to the pedestrians to cross there, so maybe that's another thing we can look out and see if our police department can help us out there too.
Yeah, anything that could help. I mean, that's a tough corner to come out of, and in the summertime with Wawa and everything there, it's crazy. It's a zoo. It's really tough.
My solution's a little bit different than Dave's, because I thought they were doing all Bay Shore Road at 35, and unfortunately in the villas, they didn't. So in front of the senior center, it's 45 miles an hour.
Right.
Up to this building, it's 45 miles an hour. The township has changed. Bay Shore Road has changed where people live. You're going down Bay Shore, you see houses everywhere, except where the Gates and a few other places. The simple solution is drop the speed limit to 35 all along Bay Shore and lower at this point. We have too many residents, and I'm sorry, but you have seniors trying to pull out of that senior center. They can't come through here to get to the light. They're making lefts there, and someone's coming around a curve. It's almost blind, and they're doing 45, possibly 50. So if we just lowered it everywhere, we don't have to worry about them slowing down in North Cape May because they're going to be slower anyway.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I don't know how much trouble that is, but I mean, it's definitely busier than it ever was. That's for sure. So, well, thank you.
We'll work on that.
Anybody else?
My name's Eileen Kreis on Evergreen Avenue, Villas. So I just wanted to speak just for a second in defense of our public works guys. I see what they're doing when I drive around the town. I live in the Villa section, and we do have a lot of flooding up in this area as well as other areas in the township. And our men can only be in so many places at one time. If there's an issue going on in North Cape May, that's one thing, but there's an issue that we have that's really bad in the Villas area as well, which was addressed tonight, that we are trying to fix that. But I know in the days before the first storm and the second one, that our guys are out there cleaning up as much as possible, going out and draining storm drains, making sure they're not blocked up, cleaning off as much as they can, and going from one area to another. Our leaf schedule might not be the best, but we do split our zones. We have 5 zones, and every year they rotate, so not one zone is affected each year exactly the same way. Where I live, I was in Zone 1 this year. We didn't have one leaf down yet when our leaf guys came through. They came down our branches, but we didn't have any leaves. Now we do. So, but we're not going to get picked up again until we're done. So that leaves us a problem. That's something that needs to be addressed, but we're working on that. But to say that our Public Works Department was a day late, I kind of find that offensive when I know that they were out there doing the best that they could in a very large township. They stay on top of it as much as they can, and we are proactive, I believe, that Gary and his crew are proactive as much as they can be with the manpower that we have and the equipment that we have, and I'm grateful for what they do. And that's just what I wanted to say. So thank you.
She brings up a very good point, because you brought up the other projects. I wasn't going to say anything, but since, because I'm not trying to downplay what happened to Roseanne. I've been here since the beginning about the Roseanne project, trying to push it to get it done, about all the drainage. Every project you heard in the villas about different streets and outfalls and stuff, that's all to alleviate flooding throughout the villas. It's not even doing all the villas, because as I said, my house, I'm on the eastern side. There's nothing that's going to be done because it drains the swamp, and the leaves, they just come through. But the leaves are what's blocking the storm drains, and we have to come up with a solution. But in mine, it's pretty much just a couple neighbors getting out and doing storm drains to try to keep the whole neighborhood from going underwater. My car was sitting on the street. It's not even on the main street that floods. It went up to the top of the tires almost, the flooding. And that is it's back that way, but the next street over, that totally goes on. It gets ugly back that way. But we can't expect anyone to help because they're going to other areas. And right now, as they said, they're treating Roseanne as the priority. We want to get it all done. But sometimes even right after they get done going down the street, you got people to pull their leaves out afterwards, or it's just what's leaves are in the yard. It's so few leaves could clog up one of those drains. It's not funny, and then you got the suction going, and the guys are trying to pull it through, because I've been out there with a rake trying to clean off a storm drain, and the suction power of it is you're fighting, and then all of a sudden, wham, it goes through. But oh, no, I'm not, that's,
I'm not here to argue, but if they can come out there the day after the storm, and with an army, with a number of trucks and a number of people, they can do that before the storm's coming.
but they're also going through other areas doing that also.
Then how can they come the day after?
Okay,
I have trouble with it.
okay, I understand. It's a whole perception thing, and as she said, it is a large township, but they were pretty much in your area doing it, but then they had to come through because another storm was coming through, and they don't want it to happen.
Those leaves sat there for a long time, a long time. And, I mean, they're almost, when you turn off a base sewer on a Roseanne, they're almost a hazard there, because they're so far out in the street that when cars are coming by, it's narrow there anyhow. So, I don't want to have an argument.
No. It's, well,
This needs to be fixed. When we have water that deep, there's a problem.
I agree with you.
And I live there. And I don't want to get mad, and I don't want to have an argument with people, but something needs to be done, and if it's the leaves, we gotta start picking up leaves more. Do we need to hire more people? Maybe, I don't know. But we need to pick up leaves more often. I spoke to an official in case.
Hey, Ed, not to jump in and interrupt you, but we're recording this meeting, so if you want to continue talking, please come to the microphone, because it's being recorded. And so we can't have a debate through the room itself.
Well, I don't even want to debate.
no, it's,
But I just
Oh.
want to be clear.
I just want to be clear that these are our properties. These are our vehicles. This is a problem. And I didn't want to bring this up, but because I don't want to get in a tit for tat, but I spoke to an official in Cape May, in Frog Hollow. They go monthly and clean up the leaves. Okay? Now, Cape May is not a small town, and it's not as big as the township, but you guys know where I'm sure Gary knows where the problems are. They should be a priority. Maybe once in a while you don't get to that. Maybe. I don't want to see that. But if we know where the problems are, they should be the priority before a storm. And I mean, I don't think it's too much to ask that. I understand your defense, and I don't want to badmouth anybody in Public Works. Those guys work hard. I mean, I was a laborer. I know what work is. But the simple fact is, we have valuable property, and all we're asking is that we're preemptive. That we don't. I mean, I can't say it enough. I watch a whole army of people come the day after the storm. And I say to myself, I'm like, why today? Why weren't they here yesterday? I mean, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but this is our properties. This is important to us. These people have lost their vehicles. I've had my house flooded. I don't want to deal with that. And we spent a lot of money trying to solve this problem. If it's the leaf problem, then we need to get on top of the leaves. If we spent all that money to solve this problem and the leaves are the problem, we need to get on top of the leaves.
Like I said a little bit ago, Ed, that myself, Deputy Mayor Perry, Gary Douglas, Mike Lafayette, last week sat down, start game planning, plan to come up with this, okay? So we all agree we need to do some things differently, okay? It's not working right now, so all I ask, give us some time to come up with some type of plan. Like I said, we sat last week, we talked, everything you're talking about tonight, everybody here, we all agree, okay? We need to make changes, okay? We're going to make changes, we're not there yet, though.
Okay, look, that's all I'm asking for. That's why I'm here tonight. I just want to say, we need to do something.
We are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, now. Anybody else? I think we're right out right now. So Miss Christina Lewis in the back here. You want to come to the microphone and say anything? Okay, thank you. I'll close the public portion. We'll go to council comments, and I'll start with Councilman Conrad first.
I have nothing else to say tonight. It's been a long night, and we got a lot to deal with.
Councilman Coombs?
Yeah, I want to put my 2 cents in on the Roseanne because I have a dog in the fight, of course. As you guys know, I have a house on Roseanne, and it is concerning. I don't think I've ever seen it. It was like a foot to my foundation that night. And, I was talking to the guys down the street in the truck, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, the pump's working. And when Scott came over, the first thing he did was kick a few leaves off the drain and it started sucking down. So shortly after that, I guess he made the call. He got guys on the street, and they were, right when I went back, I had left to get changed. I was soaking wet. Came back with my dad's old fire boots so I could walk on the street. And the guys were in the street, and they were raking it. And as soon as they cleared it, you're right, it was within 20 minutes, it was gone. So it is a concern, and obviously raking into the street's not working, and I don't think raking to the curb is going to work because of wind. So they got to be contained in some way. Maybe the suggestion that was made earlier, or the bags. If they're not contained, that they're just going to blow all over and get in anyway.
Sir, come to the microphone. Come to the microphone, please.
I got a problem with that because there's a lot of old people in that neighborhood, and a lot of those old people can't handle doing that type of work. I hire somebody, I get mine cleaned up, but then across the street, you see all the piles, with all the leaves, even though they're up above the street. Like you said, the wind comes and blows it all over. So
We have not made the decision what we're doing
we'll
yet.
figure it out.
We're still in the early stages trying to figure this out, okay?
Right,
So
I know, but
just
that's what I'm saying.
don't-
If you go that direction, you think about it because of the older people in the neighborhood, okay?
Okay,
Yep.
All right,
all right.
thank you.
Anything else, Kevin?
No, that's it.
Councilman Roy?
I think you pretty much covered all bases.
Okay. Deputy Mayor?
The only thing I'd like to reiterate, Mr. Laffey, if you could get a hold of the county engineer about Bay Shore Road there and see what we can,
Yeah, I agree with that, too.
because people do fly down there. The only other thing is it's winter, it's getting cold. Look out for your neighbors, your elderly neighbors in the neighborhood. Make sure that you're keeping your eye on them. A lot of people, elderly people use space heaters and things of that nature, so just keep an eye on your neighbors, and winter's here.
All right, thank you. I just have 2 items. February 5th is a reminder, the township will be receiving an award from the state, and we value our veterans. And March 4th will be introduction for the budget to council. That's all I have. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.